If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. All right, today I want to talk about just how exactly our government's been poisoning us here in the United States of America and in some other countries as well. But it's important to know about fluoride and the fluoridization of water, which occurs here in the United States, and the hoax that they created many moons ago, in which they convinced the American people that fluoride was good for your teeth. So they got the American people to go along with it, despite the fact that it's actually poison and should not be swallowed at any point in time by a human or an animal. But the beginning of actually using fluoride and poisoning water with it goes back to Stalin, and then it goes back to Nazi Germany with Hitler. Stalin actually was putting fluoride in water as a test. He had scientists that did tests for him because he needed to decrease the number of soldiers that he had in his military for many different reasons, including financial reasons. So they tested it in the water there, and they found out that by putting fluoride in the water, that the people became less rebellious. They became way more lethargic, way more docile, right? So they didn't need as many military people around him, because the people weren't rebelling. The people were kind of just going through the day like zombies. And then this, of course, got adapted in Nazi Germany, and Hitler started giving this to the Jewish prisoners held in the concentration camps. He started putting fluoride in the water there, and they noticed that none of the prisoners were rebelling and trying to break free. They were just kind of going through their day. You'll see pictures where they kind of look lethargic and zombie-like. It's because they had them so dosed up on many different things, including fluoride. Because what fluoride does is it makes you very lethargic. It makes you very, very docile. And even recent studies in the 90s show that it lowers people's IQs by a lot when they have a high dose of fluoride in them. But here in America, we've been led to believe that fluoride is great for us. It prevents cavities. Even though most of us know it's a scam, because most of us get cavities anyway, despite having fluoride in our water, and fluoride in our toothpaste, and fluoride in many other products that we consume. But as Hitler once said, tell a lie big enough and long enough, and the people will believe it. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened, because when World War II ended, an Operation Paperclip went into place, where we brought over these Nazi scientists. We brought them over from Germany, the same scientists who were performing disgusting, disturbing tests on the Jewish prisoners were granted permission to come to America to continue performing the same tests. And eventually, fluoride, the government here decided fluoride would be great to put in our water to prevent us from rebelling against them. Okay, originally fluoride was considered a hazardous toxic waste. They used it, they killed rodents with it. They still do. That's how you kill cockroaches and things like that. There's a couple poisons mixed in, but fluoride is one of the main ingredients. So at the time, they hired a guy named Edward Bernays, who was known as the public relations father, the father of it. He's one of the first people to do PR work. And he began a campaign of deception to persuade people into believing that fluoride was good for them. And he knew how to do that by hiring and going to doctors and dentists and getting them to give it a thumbs up, and to get them to promote it. Because the people trust in doctors. They see doctors and dentists without knowing anything about the person's background, without knowing anything about the actual doctor or dentist's life whatsoever. We automatically give trust to them for whatever reason. Because we're naive. And we think, well, they're good. It's a doctor. It's a good person. Or it's a dentist. It's a good person. They know what they're talking about. They're smarter than we are. And they convinced the American people that fluoride was a scientific progress in our country. And anyone who disagreed or dismissed it, they would dismiss them and call them quacks or lunatics. Okay? There's even documents showing, the U.S. military documents, such as the Manhattan Project, that shows how fluoride is one of the key ingredients in the production of the atomic bomb. Yet they put it in our water to keep us monotone, docile, to dumb us down. And of course, it leads to other things too. It leads to bone cancer. It doesn't just lead to being slow and zombie-like and lethargic all the time. It leads to other forms of cancer, other diseases like Alzheimer's. And if you actually study the history of fluoride and you say to yourself, well, why is this in our water still? Nobody's come out and said this except for some guy on a call for an uprisings channel. Many people have. And many scientists have come forward and done tests on it, and the government immediately dismisses it. Because fluoride is one of the biggest businesses that they have. They use it in everything. They poison us in every way possible. They produce so much fluoride that they don't even know how to get rid of it. So they just dump it in our water. And they dump it in our food. And they tell us, don't worry about it. We're your government. Trust us. We would never do anything to harm you. But who's behind the government? Who's the one really pulling the strings, right? The government behind it, the shadow government. And who are they really praising and worshiping? That's right, Lucifer, their god here on earth. He wouldn't want to harm us, would he? You think? So again, you take something from Nazi Germany, which they continue to discredit, but if you follow the money trail, if you follow the facts that are out there, it all leads back to Hitler and what he did. And like I said, even Stalin was doing this because they knew how to keep people under control. They didn't want people rebelling because people had enough of how they were being controlled and manipulated by these leaders. And would that surprise you that they're doing that here in the United States of America? Is that surprising to think that they would want to keep their people under control? Give me a break. You hear people talk about it and they say, oh, stop with this fluoride stuff. Because everybody is just so naive. Everybody is just such a groomed sheep. They would never think that somebody would be doing this to them. God forbid the people in power would ever want control over their people, would ever want their people to be docile and to nod yes whenever they give a command. Because that would sound a lot like socialism. Oh, wait, that's what we live in now. Capitalism, you think? No. Socialism, dependent on the government. And we allow them to tell us what's right for us. We allow them to tell us what's good for us, with no research whatsoever. And we just say, we trust in these researchers. Why would they ever do anything wrong? The real sick people in the world are the people I see on the ID channel. Couldn't be more opposite. The real sick people in this world are the ones who are living in giant mansions, the ones who are going to work in a suit and tie, CEOs and executives at high positions of power. They're doing this to us, poisoning our bodies, poisoning our minds, leading us into slow, agonizing deaths, whether it's cancer, whether it's our bones breaking down, which fluoride causes, bone degeneration, whether it's just making us docile and so just lethargic that we don't even want to get out of bed some days. These are the effects of what they've done to us through putting fluoride in the water. But nobody rebels against it. Yet if you look over in other countries, they refuse to put fluoride in their water. You know why they do? Because they know it's poison. They know it's poison. The people over there say, absolutely not. You will not poison us and put this in our water. Here, what do the people do? They say, stop being a conspiracy theorist. I got to get back to work now. I've got some pointless sales calls to make for 12 hours. Then I got to go to the gym for no reason so I can look good. Then I got to go on Facebook for an hour and get to bed and then repeat it tomorrow. I don't care what they're putting in my food or my water because look, I'm moving around. You'll care when you get cancer. You'll care when you get Alzheimer's disease or someone close to you does. And you'll say, oh, why do bad things happen to good people? That's what you'll say, like a moron, like a sheep. Or you'll say, how could God do this to a good person? And they'll point the finger at our Father in heaven because they're naive fools. Satan controls the earth and his minions do his bidding here. They poison us. They create these diseases and we allow them to do it. We allow them to get away with whatever they want because we're too busy. We're too busy being materialistic, thinking that we live in freedom because we can buy some things after being enslaved all week, that we get a paycheck maybe we can buy a new car or something like that. Working to give the money back to the same people that produce it while they poison you with fluoride. And that's not the only poison that they're giving us. We talked about the chemtrails and the aluminum that they dump on us. Haven't even gotten into the chemicals in the food yet, but you'll find some fluoride in there. You'll also find some fluoride if you go to the store and buy cockroach poison. You'll find a lot of fluoride in there because that's how they kill them off. But for us, it must be okay, right? Right? I mean, they wouldn't give us a high dosage of it. Why would they put any amount of it in our food? Because my teeth won't rot? We've all been drinking fluoride. Is anyone out there cavity-free for their entire life? Give me a break. We've had fluoride in our water for over 60 years, 70 years. That would mean that nobody would get cavities, right? The dentists would be going out of business. And cavity levels have never been higher. It does nothing for your teeth. Nothing at all. It's there to keep you docile. It's there so that you can't wake up from this dream that you're in. So that you can't see what's really going on. So you can't see the Satanists and what they're doing behind closed doors. You can't see the agenda that they have. All you can see is what they tell you to do, which is get up, be enslaved, go to work for us, give us the money right back when you go to the grocery store and pay your taxes, and drink our poisons and die off sick. Live a nice agonizing life with many, many health issues. Be 30 years old and be dependent on 5 pharmaceutical drugs. Why? Why do you think that is? Because you're constantly putting chemicals into your body. That's why we're all sick. And who gets the money for that? They do. Who runs the pharmaceutical companies? These people do. When are people going to wake up? When are people going to stop allowing them to poison us? For people out there that are looking for a solution, they have fluoride filters that you can get. Some are expensive, some not so much. If you have well water, you're likely to be safer, at least as far as I know. I'm not going into people's wells and measuring the fluoride levels, but well water is supposed to be a safer source and less contaminated. But bottled water's got fluoride in it, MBPA. So you get a nice glass bottle, get a fluoride filter for your faucet, or a pitcher with a fluoride filter in it, fill up the glass bottle with it, take it to work with you, or take it when you go out, and keep it out of your body. Will it have a huge effect on you? It might not. Long term, it'll definitely help you long term. Short term, who knows? There's so much aluminum getting dropped on us from these chemtrails. I'm not saying you're going to have a sudden burst of energy because you're not drinking fluoride, but it might prevent you from having some long-term disease that they want you to get from drinking fluoride. So take care of yourselves. Pray to the Holy Spirit to help expose these people so they can stop killing off the human race as they try to build a superhuman race inside of this antichrist system that we live in. Thank you for listening to today's show. God bless you all. May peace be with you.